Thanks for watching. Today we're taking a look at my repainted Jeep JT Gladiator. This is an Axial SCX10 version 3. In case you're not subscribed. Subscribe because you will see a lot more of this truck in the future. And subscribing is free. This truck, it started out as a gunmetal standard Jeep JT Gladiator. I had a lot of fun with it, shot a nice running video with it, I think it was nice. But I had pretty much a lot of difficulty seeing the truck just because it was so dark. I already put some extra stickers on it just to make it pop a tiny bit more, but I was really dead set to go and repaint this thing. So what I did is I set off and I took all of the body accessories off. There's a ton of body accessories on this thing. You don't just have, for example, the bed with like a rack on the bed, but also taillights, you have headlights, you have radiator, you have wing mirrors, you have door handles, you have absolutely a ton of stuff that you need to take off and out because there's also a full interior. But one of my main issues with this body in stock form was also the tinted windows. So I wanted to make sure that I could spray those window frames on the inside, the outside. That part went according to plan, but not completely. Because, well, usually you're good to paint something on the outside if you're really careful to degrease it and wash it. And I did wash this thing and I did degrease it. Or so I thought, but apparently the cloth that I had also had some sort of contaminant on it, some sort of grease. So after washing it, I set it here to dry, came in a day later, had some water residue, wiped that off with what I thought was like a clean cloth. Turned out it wasn't. And then after spraying my base coat, which was a black, and sort of like continuing with my masking, the black just came off with some of my masking tape. So that's when I knew that this thing was not going to go according to plan, which is fine. But I mean, I just want to tell you what happened over here. So after that, I needed to kind of save what I could. So I did go with the sand color that I had intended, but I didn't go with like all of the other colors that I wanted to spray on as well, just because I didn't want to risk ripping up more of that base coat. So I just sprayed that sand color on, which is a TS46 from the top of my head. I think that turned out pretty nice. And after that, I needed to take some shortcuts. So what you see on here, this is actually some color strip work from Yeti Score. I never used stickers on my Yeti Score, so I still had all of this stuff laying in my sticker drawer. I think it actually turned out pretty okay. Another thing that I really wanted to do to this stock body was painting those fenders. So both on the front and on the back, I painted a lot of the black section, so the majority of it actually, just to blend in with the body and make it look a bit more like a hard body. Well, those stickers, some commercial advertising as well, so there's some MagnaFlow and other stuff on there that's really not on the truck at all, but it does add, I think, a nice bit of detail and some stuff to look at. Another thing that I usually never do, adding body lines with a Sharpie. All in all, I don't think it turned out too bad. I added two searchlights on the top of the hood over here. These come in, what was this? I believe this was in the Honcho kit. I'll make sure that you see a close-up of this. Another item that I'll make sure that you see a close-up of is this snorkel. This is a snorkel designed by Night Customs, and you can get this at MyMiniFactory. I printed this at home right here in the corner of my shop on my Snapmaker. My Snapmaker is a fantastic machine. I have yet to fully test its entire potential because it is a 3-in-1 machine. So it is a 3D printer, which it does phenomenally. It's also a CNC machine, and it is also a laser cutter / engraver. So you have basically a full workshop in one machine. You just change out the tool heads and the working beds and you're good to go. Why are we addressing this is, well, I think that my progress in 3D printing in the past couple of weeks has been pretty good. So I got a really good understanding currently of what I can do with this printer, but also how orientation and print quality really affects the outcome of my print and the quality of the item that I managed to pull out of that printer. Now in this case, this isn't even painted, so this is just the way that I picked it out of the printer. Of course I did remove the supports. But apart from that, I didn't do any cleaning on this. I didn't do any painting on it. This is just the way that I managed to get it out of the printer. And if you see my first attempt, then I do think that there's a huge quality difference between my first and my second print. Just because I get a bit more of an idea right now of what works and what doesn't work for me. Again, this is an item that you can get at MyMiniFactory. The same with this rooftop tint, which is also from Night Customs. And in this case as well, I didn't want to dress it up with a ton of putty. So I just sanded it a bit. I sprayed it with a Tamiya Primer Gray. So you are able to see some, what do you call it, some inconsistencies in the print. So it almost looks like an elevation map, which can look pretty cool. But if you want to avoid that, you can, for example, just change the orientation of your print ever so slightly. Somebody gave me a tip about that. They said, you know, if you just change it like 25, 30 degree angle, you will get rid of a lot of the inconsistencies that you see on the top of your print. So that's all cool stuff to kind of mess around with and play around with. So currently there's 2 3D printed items on this truck. There will be a couple more in the coming weeks. I'm really bad at muting myself, but I will just dress this up as I go. Printing this stuff has been a ton of fun, and also if you have not checked it out yet, we're doing a contest on MyMiniFactory. So MyMiniFactory is hosting a contest if you have anything 3D printed on your truck. So don't hear this wrong and don't misunderstand it. You don't need to have a 3D printer. If you have one, that's great, but perhaps you have family with a 3D printer, or perhaps you have just bought some 3D printed parts. If you have a trail truck with anything 3D printed on it, so that can be a snorkel, it can be a rooftop tint, it can be some inner fenders, it can be an entire body, we want to see it. We want to see what people are doing with 3D printing in order to enhance their truck. Maybe you're even enhancing the performance. There's also people printing battery trays. Whatever, the sky is the limit with 3D printing. And I'm starting to sort of like discover that myself over here with that Snapmaker. Yeah, so we want to see it. Make sure that you enter in the link in the video description box, so we can see what you have been up to with 3D printing. Make sure that you fill out like a full form, that we know what type of chassis you have. Maybe you have a YouTube channel, maybe you have like a really cool Instagram account that we should follow. Make sure that I know all of that stuff, wheels, tires, all that stuff, and just enter it on MyMiniFactory, because well, you can win a ton of prizes. There's over $9,000 in prizes. We're giving away 3 Snapmaker A350 machines in some various specs. So some of them come like a base model. We also give them away with full enclosures, with emergency stop buttons, you name it, and it's there. And you can make some really cool stuff with it. Another thing that I need to tell you about my Jeep JT Gladiator, my Axial Jeep JT, are these wheels. These wheels, they come from Spec RC. I'll make sure that you see a close-up of them, because they'll look phenomenal. Also come in like a primer gray, so they're like a tiny bit off-whitish. They'll look really clean, really futuristic. These rings as well, they come from Spec RC, and I wrapped them in some BF Goodrich crawler tires from Proline Racing. I really like the way it currently sits. So those stock axles, or those standard axles sort of like that I put under here, rather than the portal axles that you would find out of the box on this Jeep JT. I think make it look a lot more planted, also a lot more scale. And also they enabled me to put these Spec RC wheels on, because these are the type of rim that would not fit over a portal box. But I do believe that Spec RC also has currently a different rim that would fit over a portal box. So maybe we will check those out in the future. Anyway, if you want to have a 10% discount at Proline Racing, use the code HemiStorm10 or Hemi10. That can apply to anything that you buy over there, so that's wheels, tires, rims, what have you. You can also pass that around to your friends. You don't have to watch these videos and hear my phone ding-donging in order to use that code and get that additional 10% discount. I hope you found this an informative video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the box below. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up, and well, again, if you have not subscribed yet, please do. It is free. I've been terribly busy the past couple of weeks in and around the house. All of that, however, is now prepped for summer, so you will see weekly videos from here out again. Thank you so much for being patient. I hope I will see you around. Take care. Bye-bye.
We're back on.